Been a time that I could look back in my life when I said, man, I was so drunk that I made so many great decisions.
This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast. My name is Raul Velasquez, and I'm here with my beautiful queen.
Yes, my name is Vivian Velasquez. So excited to be here with you all. Happy New Year. I can't believe
We did it. 2023.
Oh my gosh,
2023.
so exciting.
It's amazing. So in this podcast, we're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts of 2023. I'm going to share some lessons that we've learned in 2022, and we're going to react to a couple of videos. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be a good first episode podcast. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited to keep doing this podcast every week. We're committed in 2023 to bring you more, not just more information.
No.
We want to give you the right content. So what we would love for you guys to do is, number one, is definitely subscribe to the channel. If you see some value, if you found some value, continue to follow the channel. Number two is send us DMs. Let us know any questions that you have. We want to use our experience as a way for you to kind of gather some wisdom, but at the same time, we like to learn from you. We like to learn, what are you going through? What are your struggles? What are your challenges? To see if we could go to the next level in this 2023.
That's right. And if you're watching us for the first time, we want to welcome you. And the ones that have been following us, we want to thank you for your love and your support. And, Raul and I have been married for 23 years. And I think like every year that goes by, we learn something. I learned something new about the relationship. I learned something new about myself. And if you're not learning something, if you're not like doing something to change, then that's when the challenges come from. So, let's see what
We'll start this by saying there's a lot of things that we could learn from 2022. I mean, we've learned a lot of.
Every year you learn something,
things,
though.
But especially I think 2022 was one of those years that, like at least for me, one of those years that it was a growth year. It was a growth year because we travel a lot. I mean, we spent the last couple of weeks of the year traveling. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of reflection. Yeah. And one of the things that I was sharing with my guys in the masterminds this week is that, I feel like in the past, after the pandemic, there's been a sense of being comfortable. The pandemic kicked our ass, with your health, with my health, and we found some kind of relief on realizing that we don't have to stress out so much on events. So before the pandemic, we were doing events almost every month. Every month we would do a boot camp, right? The pandemic hit, and we did a boot camp. I did a boot camp once a year. We did 2 big events. So we're really, I would say, adapted to the situation. Okay. But for me, 2022 was more of a year of, okay, where do we go? What's the next level? What's the next level for us as a couple? What's the next level for our business? What's the next level for our impact? And what hit me was when we went to the Dominican Republic, the last week of the month of December, and I look back at that resort we were at, and the last time that I was there was with my father 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that was the last vacation that I had with my dad. That was the last vacation, and one of my dreams, one of my goals was to have a whole family in there, and we did. I flew in, like we have 25 people. It was my grandmother, it was my aunts, it was my mom.
It was for Alejandro's
his 13th birthday. He became a teenager.
That's right.
The year of becoming a teenager.
Yes.
And we just had an amazing time as a family. And now going back after 4 years, like we have the memories.
Yeah.
We have the memories. And it
that
was very emotional getting there. It was like, we wanted to take it easy and have a vacation, but at the same time, there was a lot of emotions going through. My son was a little bit sick. My daughter was emotional. But it was good to look back and look at there was no regrets.
Right.
Like that's why I think 2022 for me was a year of reflection, of asking myself, like, if I'm going to go all in on 2023, what am I going to do to have no regrets? How can I live so I can have no regrets in every area, not just in my marriage, in my business, in every area. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm excited for 2023 because I feel like this is the breakthrough year. This is the year that we break through in every area, in our business, in our marriage, in our fitness, and we've made some decisions and big commitments to be able to break through. Because I told my team this week, I said, if you do the same thing you did last year, if you show up the same way, you're not going to get the same results. You're going to get less results. Why? Because the market changes. the market expands. If you're not growing, you're dying. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you because I know you made some big commitments in 2023. I'm excited for your brand, for your business, and for everything that we're doing together at the same time, supporting each other. So
yes, we had a really great time, and I think that's something that like I love to really tell the people that are watching, like, to take the time to really kind of, regroup your thoughts and your ideas and where you really want to go. And something that I teach the woman too is like, you have to create from a place of authenticity, because even though like I hear you and you always share with me, like, you're so good at sharing the vision, and your vision is so big and is so out there, and then for me, like, I have to come back and almost like, okay, what is my truth of where do I want to be? Because sometimes your stuff, like, we compare, like, especially for women, like, we compare ourselves so much with whether social media or your husband or your girlfriends or anybody else out there. But I really, like, this year for me was like, okay, what is it that authentically, lovingly is my own truth? And then when I made that decision, like, it felt so like powerful, because it's like, this is exactly what I could accomplish. This is exactly what feels right to me. And it's like, okay, I could get it done. It's a sense of belief that, okay, this is for me, so I could get this done.
One of the main things that I got from you in that session, that we had in the beach with our kids, painting the vision and just acknowledging the past and welcoming the future, is that your vision and my vision, we're in alignment, but I'm not pushing you to have I'm not pushing you, I'm pulling you. So I think the job of a man is to create a pull, not necessarily to get a push, because I've tried that. I've tried to push you, say, hey, Vivian, do this, do that, and every single time that I push, there is tension.
Well, but then you push me, and then when you're pushing me, then I feel like I turn around and I'm like, I feel less than.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, even like, if you think about it, right? Like, sometimes when like you're pushing someone or something, to me it comes with like this negative energy of like, you're just pushing something and maybe you're trying to do it in the right way, but it's like, not, I don't know, to me it doesn't feel like comforting.
So if you're doing the same thing, because I've tried to push for years, pushing for years. So if you do this, if you're doing something and it's not working, you have to change your strategy.
I'm glad you
gotta do something else. So I started not to push, I started to create a pull. I asked myself, like, who do I need to become to pull you towards my vision, towards what I want? Because listen, even this podcast wasn't possible. It was 7 years ago. I've been building Next Level Experience. For the first 3 years, I was pushing you. Let's do content. Let's do this. Let's do that. You're like, hell no, that's not my thing. That's your thing. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in video. I don't want to be creating content, because I was pushing. But now we're creating a pool, and it's coming together authentically and effortlessly.
Yes. And again, it goes back to like what feels right to me. And I know that this is conversations I've been having like this whole week about women. It's like, we feel like, we want to be there with our spouses because they're doing so much, because a lot of, the women that I'm coaching are married to men like you who are running 100 miles an hour, who have this great, big, beautiful visions. But it's like, is that really where I want to be right now? It's not that I don't love it or honor it, or I want to be there at some point in my life, but just right now, it doesn't feel right. So in that honoring of like what is right for me, then that's when everything starts to come together. But that's a challenge that sometimes we don't have. And it was really beautiful for us what we did at the end of the year. We, like you said, we took our kids and we sat in front of the ocean and created the intention for like, what is 2023 going to be for each of us individually, and what is it going to be for us collectively as a family, right?
What's the energy that you want to start with?
And it was so beautiful to listen to each and every one of our kids and to us, and to like give ourselves that permission to say like, well, like if God will help us get to this place, like it's all possible. And what is it that I want? And just being there was just so beautiful. So I hope that if you're listening to this, if you haven't done something like that you still take the time and you actually set the intention of like, what do you want 2023 to look like for you? And not necessarily like a whole year's base, but maybe like, in the next 3 months, how do you want to show up? And, something else that I did personally is like, I didn't want to come to the new year and start doing the resolution the first of the year. like I actually started my resolution 2 months back, right after my birthday. And, I had my own like aha moments, and I realized like, hey, the person that I need to be right now, the habits and the things that I'm doing are not gonna get me there. So I stopped drinking alcohol, and it was like, for me, it was like this challenge, like this battle of like, oh my gosh, like I'm not really like, I don't drink a lot, but still I could drink once in a while. And it was that battle. And then I was like, okay, no, who do I need to be? And clearly alcohol was not in the picture. And I said, it has to go. And it was this like from one day to the other, I was like, no more, that's it. Not to say that I'm not going to drink, not to say that like you're bad for drinking, but just for me right now, in this time in my life, I need to really like.
This was the first time we went to President Keiko's. And we went to Dominican Republic, and you didn't have one drink.
And I wasn't even tempted to have a drink or anything like that.
Not even the beach or a margarita, because that's the best time to have
a beer or a margarita. Yeah, and it was just like getting clear. And I think that's I'm telling the stories because once you get clear on what is the intention that you want for yourself, then it's like, oh, okay, what are things that I need to let go of? It may not be easy, but it's so worth it.
And I look back at the lessons that we've gotten over the years, and it just reminds us like not looking at things that are right or like wrong, making it wrong, because if you make alcohol wrong, then you want to have it more. Right. It's more looking at like it's not useful. Like at this moment, this is not useful. I'm not getting the value that I want out of this. Right. So that's easier for people to give us something that's not useful as opposed to label it as something wrong, and then something's wrong with you. And when I look back, I remember. I mean, I think 4 years ago, I got drunk in that resort, and our kids until this day, like I think our kids have seen me drunk maybe twice,
and that was the one time that they remember
in their life. But this is the time that they remember.
Yeah.
And they always bring it up. Remember the time that Dad did this or the Dad, and for me, I look back. It's like I think that we have to own our mistakes and own when we get out of control, and thank God, and I constantly pray that we've never gotten to the extremes that something crazy happened. Like I'm a fun drunk. Like I drink
so
and
fun.
I dance. I like to laugh. But at the same time, does it serve you? Does it serve you for what you want?
I know.
And you always have I've never seen you like being crazy. You always have control. You have 2 cups, so that's it. two glasses. 2 glasses.
Two bottles, 2 cups. No,
I'm the 2-bottle guy. Like I open up a glass of wine.
I'm 2 cups.
Probably
I'm 2
get like
cups.
1 or 2.
Yeah, but and then it makes you think of like how we have made alcohol okay. And I know like maybe this is the do's and don'ts. Like for me was like, don't fall into the trap that just because somebody is drinking, like it's good for you. And it's just society makes it so easy. Like even like in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, I need a glass of wine to feel loose and to unwind and to have better conversations.
Change the state, and just to kind of like if you're in the energy, the atmosphere, everybody's drinking, everybody's having
so
something
you want
to be part of it. You want to
do the same thing. But for me, it actually does the opposite, because I have a lot of like loving energy, and I'm like this grounding person and love to have these conversations, deep conversations. But when I drink, like I'm not that person. Like I just, I'm like, it's dumb the way that I feel, like even the way that my body feels. So it's like,
well, I think that's the biggest thing. I think for me, to be honest with you, is the aftermath.
That too.
The aftermath, because like if we are at a point that we eat clean, we exercise, but the one day, man, it just sets us back. And that's the part where like if I drink one day, the next day I'm still doing the same thing. I mean, you see me. I'm doing my ritual. I'm doing my exercises.
No matter what.
This past
New
Year's, I stayed until 5 a.m. Elvis was in our house. We had cigars. We had a couple of drinks. 5 a.m. We went to bed. The next morning,
7:30.
7:30. I was up. I wasn't 7:30. I was 9:30. Okay.
Yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock. I was up still.
I don't think it was that late.
I was doing my ritual, and I went to the gym. Elvis looked at me like, dude, what are you on, man? Like, I can't even stand up. I was like, man, you have to honor yourself. Pay the price. Every single day, have a routine.
Not everybody is from my routine. You are a machine.
And that's what that's when I have to make a choice. Do I want to pay the price tomorrow? to enjoy this few hours
Yeah, no,
or
I
not?
can't. I'm
so
not.
this year, my son and I, we have a challenge because he gave us sugar. So he challenged me that I'm not gonna have sugar, and let's see if you can have a drink, and we'll see which one breaks first, and it's $1,000. The winner gets $1,000 from the loser.
And that's like a win-win situation. Like just me seeing him even put up that challenge because him not having sugar,
it's a big deal.
As alcohol, sugar is just as addicting. And imagine like if you leave both things, like it's just so good. And I'm just always so proud of him, how the discipline that he's gotten from like this little challenges that we do at home. And
it was for 30 days.
It's fun to watch.
30 days straight.
So nourishing.
He had no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And
Till his birthday.
He was pissed because on his birthday he had we went to the resort and they gave him, he was asking for seltzer water and they gave him tonic water. And then he started drinking tonic water and said, hey, Dad, like, this seltzer water tastes a little funny. So I looked, I said, this is not seltzer water, this is tonic water. And look, it has like 20 grams of sugar. It's like, man, I can't believe it. Like I broke my streak of no sugar.
With tonic water.
With tonic water. So,
Yeah.
But see, I told him, like, I've gone without drinking for 2.5 years before, no problem. Like, I have no problem. Like, my mindset is, like, if I stop, I stop. So now,
That's right.
be prepared. I told him, be prepared to have no sugar for a couple of years because I'm not breaking. I'm not breaking. And he's like, I'm not breaking that. So we'll see.
And then
you probably end up having no sugar for a long time because I'm not breaking. Like, especially if you give me a challenge.
I
Like,
know.
I haven't drank in 2.5 years without no challenge. Give myself a challenge.
Yeah.
Somebody's giving me a challenge. There's no way I'm
And now it's so easy for you because then I'm not drinking. So I was the temptation for you. So it's like,
that's
you're
the dues.
golden.
So the dues that we've decided for 2023, it's just have a clean diet, clean body, a clean body, and make decisions. So with that, let me show you the video. I was telling Vivian I want to show her a video.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Dana White and the UFC. Like I love the UFC, and my son and I we watch the UFC fights every Saturday. So something happened and Dana White was in the news. So I want to see if the team could put this video together. You haven't seen this video. This is what happens in New Year's Eve. They were out in Cabo. They were in a club, and they got into a little bit of an argument, I believe. Let's see. I want to.
slapping the girl. He's just slapping
Can
the
you
girl.
rewind that, Daniel? Let me just see in the beginning. So what happened is that, like, again, the party got too out of control. She slapped him and he slapped her back. So let's see the reaction, the video of him, like telling TMC of what happened.
Dana, why don't you just tell us what happened that night? What happened leading up to that video?
Well, I'm in Cabo, Mexico, for the holidays with my family.
We're here over here, Daniel.
And my wife and I were out Saturday night on New Year's Eve. And, unfortunately, that's what happened. I'm one of the guys, you've heard me say for years, there's never, ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman. And now here I am on TMZ talking about it. But my wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together. And we've got 3 kids. And, this is one of those situations that's, horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that is, right now, we're more concerned about our kids. We have 3 kids, and obviously, since the video popped up, we've shown the kids the video, and we're more focused on our family right now. People are going to have opinions on this, and most of the people's opinions would be right, and especially in my case, you don't put your hands on a woman ever. My wife and I obviously love each other. We've been together for a very long time. We've known each other since we were very little, and this is just one of those unfortunate situations.
You were at a place in Cabo that where alcohol flows. Yeah, I mean, Dana, what we were told by people who were in the club, that it, at least to them, seemed that there was a lot of alcohol involved in this situation.
So wow, like
we were talking about this alcohol situation. I mean, you act so different once you have even one drink. You already act different. Can you imagine, like, we've been in Mexico, and like how messed up you have to be to raise your hand at your wife. You know, she must have said something. Yes, she slapped him, but it's just like you're not yourself. And I'm not excusing it because we've been in a relationship for 20 plus years. But again, and I think that's one of the reasons why for me was like no more, like I don't need it right now, is because in our relationship, if I want our relationship to continue to grow, do I really want to incorporate, even, you know, it's an addiction. Sometimes it becomes an addiction, like a social addiction. And it's like, I didn't want that. It was so clear to me when I was meditating and praying that day. It was like, I can't tolerate it. It was like a clear no more. Because imagine, like, if we put ourselves in this situation, that one day we go to a club,
that'd be a huge regret. That would be a huge regret.
And then how do you explain it to your kids? Like, I know that they're trying to explain it to their kids.
And then you build up so much equity of respect, so much equity of honor that he's going to have to rebuild it again. So I do feel bad for him. I mean, the guy is owning it. I mean, they obviously have to work things out together. Yeah. Like, it sounds like she's very passionate. He's passionate, but it's a bad situation. But I look at it as, you know, you're not in the right state. You know, you're not the same person. I mean, if he hits the wife in a normal circumstance, it's a whole different level. If alcohol is involved, it's not. I'm not trying to excuse it. It's not an excuse. By all means, it's not an excuse. It's gonna have to suffer the consequences. Obviously. But it's just I wanted to show you that video because I wanted to get a reaction because we were just talking about like.
This is crazy. We're talking about
this.
We're talking
about like the
we
effects.
Didn't even know. I didn't even know.
The effects of alcohol. The effects of letting go of things that put you in a state of not being in control.
Yeah, and you know, right now, like, you get to see that stuff because there's social media. People are always filming you and doing something. But how many marriages, how many relationships like go through this stuff on everyday basis, or every weekend basis, every like party basis, because you're like having too much to drink and then you disrespect each other, and then you sometimes people can't come back from that because you cross a line that you can't come back from. So I mean, I know that there's places and times that you could heal, but if you could avoid it, if we could say like, okay, let's avoid the part, especially for me, like I've chosen to like avoid the part of like having alcohol in my life, because I could have fun. I could be, you know, I could loosen up, just like maybe do like a little ritual here and there, but I don't need to have like substances to really like tap into my brain and say like, you know, loosen up. You could tap into your brain and have affirmations and say these things to yourself, and then like maybe you might not be the same.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
It's not the same, but you don't need to be. So for me, I don't need to be in the situation. God forbid, I never want to be in the situation when you and I disrespect each other.
There has never been, like looking back, there has never been a time that I could look back in my life when I said, man, I was so drunk that I made so many great decisions. Man, that was wasted, man. That was a right decision, man. It was like it was fun. We have some great memories.
Let's not tell anybody.
They were not the best decisions.
And thank God back then.
Thank God it wasn't never something like this or something that is like unrepairable.
Thank God nobody ever filmed us, because Raul and I have been wild. Just, you know, and that's, you know, that version of me, that version of you has, you know, like we enjoyed it, but it's like the version right now.
At this level of the game, we're not going to be
the queen
Cabo.
Right now that I want to be.
Taking shots.
Is it going to serve me if I'm going to be like, you know, my 21-year-old self taking shots in Cancun? No, that's not going to serve me. So I think like you really got to get clear as to like where you are in your life at every point in your life. And it's like, is this really for me?
Yeah. And what serves you? And what is it that you want? That's the clarity part. That's the vision part. You know, the question that I ask myself all the time is, who do I need to become? Who must I become in order for me to accomplish the goal and the vision? And because, you know, if you are an owner of a company, you are a leader, or, you know, simply have a family, you have a position to live up to. Yeah. Your kids, your family. So you have to make decisions based on what would happen if they find out. What will happen if so, like for me, in 2023, I'm making decisions that are focused on legacy. I'm making decisions that are focused on long-term, short decisions. It could be fun for that short period of time, but we have to think long-term.
Yeah, and we know how to have fun other ways too. You know,
Yes.
it doesn't, and
Yes,
it doesn't need to involve drugs and alcohol.
And that's what for us. There's the decision. When you made a decision, I was like, all right, that's you. I'm still gonna have fun. I'm still gonna I'm still gonna do what I need to do. But then when my son came out to me and give me that challenge,
then
it's just is this the right timing? And now, this shows up is like a lot of signs. It's like, okay, it's a sign that let go of what doesn't serve you. So that happened. Other thing I want to talk about, it's an Andrew Tate case. Let's take a look at what happened to Andrew Tate. Before we go into that video, Daniel, let's explain to listeners who Andrew Tate is. We did a reaction video on Andrew Tate. You remember who this guy is, right? Yeah. He's a very popular internet personality. He talks about being masculine. He talks about men have to be men. He definitely goes to the extreme. Definitely is some things I agree. A lot of things I disagree. Somebody asked me why do you why do you disagree with Andrew Tate? A lot of the things that he says probably similar to your beliefs. I look at the delivery, right? The delivery. He's a funny guy. He's funny. He has charisma, but I don't want my kids to follow something like that. If my son is acting like an Andrew Tate, I will smack the shit out of him. Okay? If my daughter is dating a guy like Andrew Tate, I will lock her up in the room, never come back, never to come out. So that's, and in that sense, if Andrew Tate wants to come to, let's say, or a guy like Andrew Tate wants to be around you or Abigail, the way I look at my sphere of influence,
I wouldn't be around.
Is I want to be around men that I could trust my kids with, that I could trust my wife with. I don't have to worry about, is this guy gonna hit on my wife? Is this guy gonna hit on my daughter? Is this guy gonna hit? Or is he looking at this? I don't want to have that energy, right? So I surround myself with men that is like, hey man, we know where we're going. So we had a leadership summit a couple months ago in November. And you were there. You were one, and there was a couple of other women there. It was a men's retreat. Was the feedback that I got from some of my guys is like, Raul, I've never been in a place with a bunch of men, and then I bring my wife, and I don't feel like who's checking her out or what is is this guy? No, he's like, I felt like, wow, like these guys are like honoring the feminine energy as opposed to like, wow, look how she looks, man. I wonder what she looks naked, or I wonder So that's the energy. So for me, when I look at Andrew Tate, that's the energy and that's the vibe that he gives me. Like a vibe is like he wants to fuck everything that moves, and if he could, he would, and that's probably that's what he says.
And also Raul is like he looks for those women, because that's another thing like about him. And he says a lot of degrading things, and yes, he might have some good things too, but it's like the women nowadays offer themselves for that situation, because I'm thinking like what you just said, right? If Andrew Tate himself was around me having a conversation, I'd be like, well, it was nice to meet you, goodbye. I wouldn't really give him my time and my space. But the challenge comes as when women see like he's some sort of like,
rich guy,
hottie,
wealthy,
it's gonna do something for me.
Guy that wants to,
so it's like they are in that energy, and they give themselves to that. They give that permission for this guy to treat them like that, because the businesses that he has, from the little bit that I know, is like he's had he does stuff like online, I guess, like OnlyFans, the women, webcam talking and all these things. Like so he used his girlfriends at the beginning, right? Like I think he has like 6 or 8 girlfriends at the beginning, and that's how his business started. So the woman actually gave permission for them to be used in that situation, in that business, and then he took a percentage of it as a businessman, which he created the business. But here's the thing, like the woman, because of situations or whatever, like they choose to be there. And
then the desperate mode, like, so part of, what I feel like there is a need for a message of a strong masculinity, but it has to be directed the right way.
And then there's like
bunch of young kids, my guys, they probably don't even know what it is.
Intention, like a certain level of,
is everything. Yeah, a level of maturity. You're not looking for that type of energy. A lot of young guys know who he is because they want to feed off that energy, that
Of
warrior.
course.
It's what I talk about in my book.
Yeah.
Warrior energy. He's in
'Cause-
a straight war energy, so of course he's gonna attract young men and women who love that warrior energy.
What he portrays looks really good. It's like, hey, it's a man who has businesses, who has women around him, who has cars.
So I want to be like that
all of those,
because I want to know
what
that.
guy is going to say no, thank you? Conscious level, right? Like where you are, then it's like it looks good, but really, is that the lifestyle that you want to carry?
Yeah. Daniel, here's some feedback. You take care of that, please.
And
let's
so
watch-
this video is Andrew Tate's home
Yep.
raided
Yeah,
by
so
the
they raided his
Romanian
home.
police. So he left the U.S. and he went to Romania.
Yeah, he's living in Romania. He was
He's
living in
living in
Romania. So to play the video, Dan. So they're going in there. They're raiding his house because I think they're accusing him of human trafficking and rape. Obviously because
He has
his
the
background
girls,
on all of this OnlyFans accounts. But I want to take a look at what they found in his house, and that's part of. Look, we found guns. We found all this stuff that he had, and that's the lifestyle that that's the lifestyle of a movie. I mean, the guy is really a movie. The guy is being a character in a movie, and he talks about the Matrix got him. The Matrix is after him, and people are speculating and why it happened to him now. So I want to bring out this point. Daniel, share the tweet that he posted. You know who Greta is, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard about her. She's so sweet.
So he posted something about her.
Greta Thunberg.
So this is what she said. Hello, Greta. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has 1.6.8 liters of quattro turbo. My two Ferraris 812 competitors have 6.5 liters and 12 cylinders. This is just to start. Please provide me your email addresses so I can send a complete list of my car collection and the respective enormous emissions. So obviously was trolling her. Obviously was trying to get her on her under her skin. What she tweeted and she sent that picture. What
He sent her that picture?
Yeah, what she tweeted back to him is so yes, please enlighten me. My email is smalldickenergy@getalife.com.
That's too funny. Small dick energy. Yeah, he's trying to show off with his cars. That's too funny.
So that's what happened. And so he goes back and he makes this video about how Greta has a small dick and he's enjoying life. Well, so after
I'm obviously
this,
a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta?
oh, it doesn't have Daniel.
I mean, also,
So it's
He's so pity, like fighting back with this young girl,
so that's the point here is that trolling is a way to get attention.
I know, I was going to say that, but he still gains popularity
course,
from
'cause that's
whether
trolling.
it's a negative energy or bad, like he's still getting popularity, and that's what they want.
So now, now the popularity that he's getting is getting him to the. So we had this conversation with my son. My son was like, "Hey, man, he's being set up that because obviously he believes in all the stuff that's going on. He's being set up. The Matrix is trying to get him." And I said, "I get what people are thinking. Yeah, you're pissing off a lot of wrong people, but if he only has an infraction of a speeding ticket, they're gonna put him in jail. So like if you're trying to throw a rock at a glass house, make sure you don't live in a glass house. Make sure you're not calling people out and you have a lot of shit to hide.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of rocks.
You throwing a lot of rocks, man, but you live in a glass house. You're hiding a lot of shit. And
to be in Romania,
this is the part where people don't know when to stop telling on themselves.
I know.
They tell themselves, like, JC had a song when they said, like, I don't know who to believe. These rappers are telling themselves in their raps. These influencers are telling on themselves on the content. Like if you're running some shitty operation, man, like just like
Stop
maybe
talking.
Stop talking. Be
Stop
happy with your
talking.
shitty business, your money that you have.
But they can't stop talking because they love to show off, and that's a challenge with them. Like they put themselves in a deeper hole just because of their ego. It's so big that it doesn't listen to anything else except the ego, and the ego just wants attention, wants, like just the shiny lights on me.
And so now that the don'ts, right? The don'ts for 2023. When I look at this, and listen, I love people who are putting content out there that are edgy, that have something to talk about, right? But don't try to go all the way to the extreme and expect not to have consequences, or expect like there's a couple of guys. There's a rapper that went to jail, 6ix9ine. I don't know if you know who 6ix9ine. His tattoos all over the place. I know all this stuff because
I've seen Nicki
connected to the
Minaj.
streets.
Nicki Minaj do a video with him.
I'm connected to have my ears on the streets. This is my son is always telling me about all that stuff. So he's 6ix9ine, same thing. 6ix9ine talked in his raps all about gangster rap, all the shootings, all this stuff. He ended up going to jail, and then he came out of jail because he told on all his friends. So eventually, all this stuff is going to happen because you're talking too much.
Yeah, I would say, don't get caught up in the drama, because like it's so easy for us, and this is everybody nowadays. Like we get so caught up in the drama, and this stuff is like it's addicting. Like you want to be there, you want to see what happens to this guy, and what is she gonna say, what is he gonna say, and that's drama that we get caught up on, and then that drama sometimes gets stuck to us like unconsciously, and then we bring that drama, and then we want to have drama at home, and then it's like, then why are we having problems? It's because like you're looking at this stuff day and night. It's like, of course it's gonna follow you energetically. It gets attached to your heart, to your mind. So it's like, really, if you want to have a different type of lifestyle, like for me, honestly, I don't see any of this stuff. Like I know that we should, but I'm like, I don't really, it doesn't serve me.
I mean, at the end of the day, we made a choice a while ago not to even consume news, not to consume newspapers.
We don't have a TV in our bedroom.
We watch movies. We are very selective on the content that we consume. Why is it important? It's important because everything is being programmed. You're being programmed. You're listening to this guy, you're being programmed what he says. You listen to the other guy, you're being programmed what he says. Like you have to choose what you're being programmed. And if what you're consuming is not uplifting you, is not helping you get better, is not helping you become more disciplined, is not helping you become, more committed, then you're just gonna be wallowing in that victim mentality or blaming the government, blaming the matrix, blaming everything. Because at the end of the day, there's always a bigger opponent out there that's going to put you down if you let it.
Right. So I would say for the do, it's like if you do have the time to sit and to watch all these things and to like really take all this stuff in, I would say like do have a morning ritual and a night ritual, so you could really step into the day, into the week, into the month with a different energy. Like, you and I both have different type of rituals, but we have a morning ritual that we have created, and it's just so nice when we start the morning like that. And now I've incorporated a night ritual that really kind of sets the mood for my sleep, for me preparing for the next day and being grateful and saying thanks to God for like what I have. So if you do have the time to watch stuff like that, also have the time to create a ritual for the morning and for the night, so you have a better foundation, so
you can reset your subconscious mind. So that's a plug. Go to dailyritual.com. We actually have a training. We'll do a live training in the next couple of weeks. Dailyritual.com is when I teach you how to reset your subconscious mind. So you get rid of all the garbage in your head and just focus on the things that you want, the things that you want to create, and you get deprogrammed out of whatever it is that is programming you on a daily basis. So that's it. Those are the do's and don'ts for this year. We're happy to be back. We're happy to be here with you. Make sure that you subscribe, that you hit the notification bell, whatever it is that you put in there, Daniel. And I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for following us. 2023 is the year of the breakthrough. The year of the breakthrough. We believe with every cell in our bodies that you were called to do big things. So you gotta follow that voice. You gotta follow that purpose. Don't play small. 2023 is the year of the breakthrough. The best is yet to come. Thank you, babe, for being here.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Learn it, live it, experience it.
Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take it to the next level.
And
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take it to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.